Administrator Charles Bolden was joined by Senate Science Committee Ranking Member Kay Bailey Hutchison and Space Subcommittee Chairman Bill Nelson for this half-hour briefing.
We're about, the Administrator of NASA, Charlie Bolden, is about to announce the most powerful rocket in history. The administration is coming forth with the plan to flesh out what was passed in the NASA authorization bill a year ago. It's a plan forward that keeping the International Space Station alive until at least 2020 with a series of commercial rockets taking crew and cargo to and from the space station, then allows NASA to get out beyond low Earth orbit and start to explore the heavens, which is the job that NASA has always been tasked to do. This rocket is coming in at the cost of not only what we estimated in the NASA Authorization Act, but less. The cost of the rocket over a 5 to 6 year period in the NASA authorization bill was to be no more than $11.5 billion. This cost is $10 billion for the rocket. The projected cost for the capsule, or what they call the MPCV, the Multi-Purpose Crew Vehicle, in that time frame is $6 billion, and then the reworking of the ground support to launch the new rocket and its facilities in the modernization of those facilities is about $2 billion over that time, or a total of $18 billion in that period of time up to 2017. I'd like to show you what the new rocket looks like. This rocket has a core that is a derivative of the external tank, the apricot-colored external tank. The old external tank would come to about here in the stack of the space shuttle to give you an estimate of size. This is the smaller version of this rocket. This is in the range of the 70 to 77 ton. The old external tank would have come to about here. So you can think of the entire stack of the space shuttle being about this high. You see the relative size of the rockets. On either side are depicted 5-second solid rocket boosters, but ultimately NASA will run a competition for these boosters to be solids or liquids. There will be 5 space shuttle main engines at the tail of this core. And on top of the core then is a second stage, an improved J2X that's already under development. And then the crew module on the top with the escape system. Now what this does is, you remember in the aftermath of the destruction of the Space Shuttle Columbia, the Gaiman Commission, Admiral Gaiman, said you fly the shuttle just as long as you have to in order to build the space station, because of the components that were designed to fit into the cargo bay. You build the space station and you replace it with a safer rocket. That's what they're doing on the commercial rockets, and that's how this is designed, with the crew on the top of the rocket with the ability to escape. On the pad, if there's an explosion, as well as all the way to orbit. So I can't say enough good things about the lady that's standing here next to me. Kay Bailey Hutchison has truly been a leader, not only in our Space Subcommittee, but now as the ranking member of the full committee. And she, in large part, has brought us to this day. Kay is going to speak in a minute, but we want the explanation of the entire system to come from the #1 person at NASA, the administrator of NASA, General Charlie Bolden.
Thank you, Senator. And I will, as I am wont to do, I have a disclaimer to start with. Since I'm the administrator and not the expert at NASA, there's a press availability, I think at 11:30, where Bill Gerstenmaier and the team that is responsible for putting this system together will be available to answer specific questions about the configuration, the schedule, and everything else. So I would defer to them. I'm going to give you a message that I think is important, and a message I want you to take to the American public as well as our international partners. And I do want to thank all the members of the Congress. The senator's absolutely right. I don't want to get in trouble here, but I think the queen bee of all this has been Senator Hutchison, she's another Episcopalian like me, so we've been worried about fires in Texas and Camp Allen and Bastrop and stuff like that, so, you know, we don't always disagree on things. The next chapter of America's space exploration story is being written today. Today, I'm pleased to announce that NASA has selected the design of its new deep space system that will take American astronauts further into space than any nation has gone before and create jobs right here at home. Private companies are preparing to take over transportation to the International Space Station in low Earth orbit. Satellites are on their way to Jupiter and the Moon, and plans for human mission to an asteroid and onto Mars are taking shape. In combination with the crew capsule already under development, commercialization of astronaut travel to low Earth orbit, extension of activities of the International Space Station, and a fresh focus on new technologies, the new Space Launch System, or SLS, is key to implementing the plan laid out by President Obama and Congress in the bipartisan 2010 NASA Authorization Act. The SLS will be the cornerstone of our deep space human exploration program. President Obama has challenged us at NASA to be bold and to dream big, and that's exactly what we do. While I was proud to fly on the space shuttle, tomorrow's explorers will dream of one day walking on Mars. The selection of the vehicle needed to transport our astronauts into deep space is one of the most important decisions to be made this decade, and it requires a major commitment on the part of the American taxpayer, and that's why the administration insisted on doing the due diligence required so that we could get it right. But we've also been making steady progress toward realizing the President's and Congress's vision of deep space exploration, while doing so in a more affordable way. We've been driving down the cost on the Orion and SLS contracts by adopting new ways of doing business and have achieved hundreds of millions of dollars of savings each year. We're also changing the way we spend the taxpayers' money by providing more transparency and increasing competition. We're handing off transportation to the International Space Station to our private sector partners so we can focus on deep space exploration. We're already building a space capsule, the MPCV, to transport our astronauts into deep space. Now, we've selected a heavy lift rocket to carry the crew and capsule to destinations in space no nations have ever gone before. Our decision to go with a liquid hydrogen, liquid oxygen launch vehicle system was based on NASA's analysis to reduce cost, increase flexibility, and leverage the U.S. leadership in this technology. The development flights will take advantage of existing boosters and other hardware, while companies compete for advanced boosters to enable greater capability for our new heavy lift rocket. The first development flight or mission is targeted for 2017, with additional flights following that will get us on target to reach an asteroid and even Mars. We believe the President's request for the Space Launch System and the Orion Multipurpose Crew Vehicle in 2012 are at the appropriate levels. And today, the administration has made a long-term commitment to these critical deep space exploration vehicles. In addition to these two building blocks, we're investing in the technologies to allow humans to live and work in deep space, which will allow us to reach destinations such as an asteroid in Mars. This is a great day for NASA, I think, for NASA and the nation. And I really do want to thank the bipartisan leadership in the Congress for getting us to this day. We, as I said, will answer detailed questions at the press availability at 11:30, but it's my honor right now to introduce to you Senator Kay Bailey Hutchison for her comments.
Well, thank you. This is a day that we have been looking forward to for a long time. I think it's no secret that we had hoped that it would be sooner because we didn't want to lose any of the efficiencies and make sure that we didn't run up the costs unnecessarily. I had a meeting yesterday with General Bolden, with Jack Lew, Senator Nelson, in which we really hunkered down, I think, on the timetable going forward, because we do want to be on the same page, and I have the commitments now from everyone that is in the decision-making process that I believe really are going forward now all as one with one goal. And that was important to me, that the OMB, the administration, NASA, and the members of Congress be all together. And I think now, from everything that I have been told and the commitments that were made, that we are. I am very excited about this rocket system. This is the piece that I believe is going to be the true long-term future. You can't have the preeminence in space that we have enjoyed over the past decades without seeing beyond the immediate term goal, which of course is the space station and making sure that we fully utilize the space station. That is the intermediate goal. The long-term goal has to be what's out there that we haven't discovered yet. So I don't want to raise the hopes that everything is going to go exactly in a box by an outline that has been put forward, because we are pushing the envelope. We're going to the next iteration of space leadership, and this today, I believe, is the commitment that America is making to assure that we're not going to be the also-rans. We are going to continue to be the world leader in finding out what are the capabilities out there that we haven't even discovered yet. Is there something in energy? Is there something in national security? Is there something in the geophysical on Mars or on an asteroid that would help us here on Earth? So it is a great day for America. It is a commitment that NASA is going to lead the pack. We have commercial for crew, getting the crew to the space station. That's great. We're committed to other parts of our science in NASA. But the leader is going to be the launch system that is being announced today. And the next thing that Senator Nelson and I and Senator Boozman and Congresswoman Johnson, Congressman Hall, everyone who cares about the vision for America to lead in space is going to be the timetable for the contracts to start being modified so that our experienced people will be kept to help modify and design the vehicle that will take us beyond Earth's orbit. So the timetable will be what I'm looking for. I want to see the contracts modified right away. And I'm told by all of those who can make it happen that we are, in fact, mere weeks away, maybe 1 or 2 weeks away from modifying the contracts and assuring that we are going to have the designers with the experience to take us to the next level. So I am very pleased to be here today and have really a new beginning. And that's what we've been looking for since our last shuttle came down, is the new beginning. And I think we have it today. Let me just say, too, my partner here, Bill Nelson, he gave me credit, and I don't know if Queen Bee would be how I'd like to be referred to. Your Highness is not what I'm looking for, but I want to say that Senator Nelson and I, with great support from Senator Boozman and Senator Rockefeller, have been relentless in assuring that America's place in space would be continued. And I couldn't ask for better partners in Senator Rockefeller, Senator Nelson, and Senator Boozman on our side. They have backed us all the way. And I will also mention, because we're going in this week to the appropriations process, Senator Mikulski also is bought in 100%. She and I are the chairman and ranking member on the Appropriations Committee. We're going to mark up tomorrow, and we're going to do what I think everyone will applaud, and that is assure America's rightful place in both science and space exploration. Thank you.
We get double the pleasure with Kay, because she's not only the ranking on the Senate Commerce Committee, she's also the ranking on the CJS Appropriations Subcommittee. We want to hear from the other members of Congress that are here. Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson is the ranking member of the House Science Committee.
Thank you very much. There it is. Thank you very much to all of the people here. And let me say that Mr. Hall, who is chair of the Science, Space, and Technology Committee in the House, is unable to be here this morning. But we work in partnership, as I am the ranking member, in strong support of the space program. And this is a very special day for us, because we are going into an area, just as we went into the area when we started space exploration, we are going now to the next level. We know that what was done in the past has been the most successful research in this country that we've invested in. What we have been concerned about is preserving our expertise and making sure that the people who had trained, the scientists that had inspired our young people for the next level, will remain in place. We considered this somewhat of a long time coming, because we have known for some time that we needed to take this step. We were simply waiting for the White House's approval. And we are so pleased that the White House has joined us in where we want to go. And we are very excited about this next phase. We know that research means exploring the unknown. We know what we've done in exploring the unknown from the past. We don't know what we'll find for the future, but we are confident that we will find new information that will clearly take the lives of our people from around the world to the next level. So we are very excited about now. And we are very pleased that Administrator Bolden can move forward with his vision. And we'll keep all of our very qualified staff in place. We want to thank them for what they've contributed to the space program already. And we want to thank them for being patient enough to wait until we could come to this level where we are now. We hope that we will be successful in making sure that we can get the minimum, at least, amount of money to go forth in a very vigorous and successful manner. And so I'm pleased to be here, and I'm also pleased to say that I see other members of the committee present from the House as well, and I thank them for being here. And I'm going to present to you now a senator whom I worked with very, very closely in the House. We worked as chair and ranking member together on a subcommittee in transportation. And neither one of us said more than we had to. We were pretty quiet, but we got a lot of communication going. And I want to present to you now Senator Boozman from Arkansas, my dear friend, so that he can make remarks.
Thank you all, and I really am very pleased, very happy that we have a decision. And I think the key to that is because we have a decision now, it will allow us to provide certainty. And that's so important, especially as we seek to retain the best and the brightest as we move forward, those employees that will help us get to the next stage that we go to. So I really look forward to working with my colleagues here, working with my colleagues in the House and the Senate, working with the administration, so that, again, that we can work together as we build the infrastructure that we're going to need to take us as we move forward in space, and most importantly, to keep the world preeminence as being the leader in space as we move forward and maintain that. That's been such an important part of our history, and I think it will be an important part as we move forward into this next century. Thank you.
It's important to underscore the administrator's comment about the workforce. This is the most skilled workforce that is a national asset to this country. And with the phase out of the space shuttle, with the building of the commercial rockets scaling up as the space taxi, and then now with the big rocket, the monster rocket being set, and the contracts, as Kay said, within a week, the contracts being modified, you will see that workforce then start to scale up so that there's not just the precipitous drop, that you phase from one right into the other. That was most important to all of us. It's important to the President, and the Administrator made that comment in his opening line, and I just wanted to underscore it. We're pleased to have Congressman Chaka Fattah from Pennsylvania. He is the ranking member on the CJS Appropriations Subcommittee in the House. Congressman.
Thank you, Senator. Yes, sir. Well, the general said he was proud to have flown on a few of the shuttle missions. He actually commanded 2 of them, and he is commanding NASA in a way that I think today you see a decision package come together. And as an appropriator, I know that we're pleased to see that the authorizers and the administration have come to an agreement that clearly identifies the President's goal of having us move from, exploration in terms of lower orbit to deep space, to Mars as the target. This embrace of the commercial crew program is very important. I am making now this decision around the launch system really positions NASA to move forward aggressively. And I want to thank the administrator for his leadership. I know that some of the tussles up here on the Hill can be challenging, but this is rocket science we are dealing with. So it is somewhat complicated for those of us in the political realm, but we do want to make sure that our country leads the world. We have led in an absolute way. We know that we have others who have joined this effort in terms of space exploration, but we intend for America to be #1, and we know as appropriators that we can't do that on the cheap. It will cost money. We're going to have to invest money as a nation to continue to lead the world. And as an appropriator, it's always helpful to have guidance from the authorizers and to have an agreement so at least we're not working at cross purposes. So I want to thank Senator Hutchison and my good friend Senator Nelson, who himself served in a different capacity in our efforts in space at a previous time, for their leadership, along with my colleague from Texas, Congresswoman Johnson, who has done such great work in the science education area and on behalf of NASA. So thank you.
Okay, let's take a few questions, mindful of the 11:30 detailed press availability for the technical details. Yes, sir.
Senator, you talked about spending. Can you talk about how difficult it may be in this budget environment to fund these priorities, not just this year, next year, but for the decade or so beyond? How heavy will that be?
The question is the difficulty of the funding on a going forward basis. This is why the president wanted to make sure that they had all their T's crossed and their I's dotted, so that he would be able, with vigor, to present this budget and then defend it from the administration standpoint. Will it be tough times going forward? Of course it is. We are in an era in which we have to do more with less, all across the board. And the competition for the available dollars will be fierce. But what we have here now are the realistic costs that have been scrubbed by an outside independent third party in their study of NASA after NASA presented its numbers to the administration, to the budget director. And so they have scrubbed these costs, and they think they are realistic, and they think that this is achievable if America is going to have a human space program. And I can tell you, in the bosom of every American, there is a yearning for us to explore the heavens. And what you see over the next 5 or 6 years is a budget coming forth from the administration of about $3 billion a year for this system. Do we think that we can maintain that? The answer is clearly yes.
Let me speak to that as well, because as ranking member of the committee that is writing the budget, I see a very strong bipartisan support of NASA in its key roles. We will set priorities, and the administration has set priorities. It will be this space launch system for the far out. It will be the commercial system for the interim term, and the Webb telescope. And when we set those priorities, I believe that we will get the funding. I will just use as an example, even some of the strongest budget cutters on my side of the aisle have put forward massive cuts, but they have not cut the core mission of NASA, because they see that as part of the American spirit and most certainly part of the American economy and America's national security, which we cannot afford to be where we cannot afford to be in second place.
Yes, sir.
Senator Hutchison, you and Senator Nelson had a press release last week that at least was headlined that NASA was, or somebody was undercutting the U.S. space program. You also have an ongoing investigation into the delay in delivering this design today. Will that investigation continue? And are you satisfied now that, as you say, everybody's on the same page?
Well, I think that we, certainly the committee and Senator Rockefeller and I will discuss the investigation, and if there are parts of it that we need to close, we will talk about that. I haven't been privy to exactly where they are. We have been frustrated, I think that's no secret, by the time delays. I have felt that there was some effort underneath somewhere to delay until it was too expensive. And it came to a head when there was a leak that issued a hypothetical set of circumstances which would double the cost of this space launch system. Well, no one ever suggested the hypothetical, and yet it was reported as, oh my gosh, White House has sticker shock. That brought it to a head because nothing in there was factual. It was an erroneous leak, and that's when Senator Nelson and I just came out pretty forcefully saying, you know, this is sabotage. And so I think that now that the administration has come forward, everyone is on the same page on the numbers. The numbers are within the authorization levels. And I think we're now moving forward as a team for America, and that's where we all wanted to be. So sometimes the making of the sausage isn't pretty, but we're at the right end, I hope. But you know, we still have to see the timetable. We have to assure that everybody is working as enthusiastically for all the priorities. And when that is satisfied, I think we'll be in good shape.
Okay,
Well, thank you very much.
We'll see you at the 11:30.
It's Jessica wanted me to run this errand. That's what she wanted him to run. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because at first I was like, what? Is there anything else?
Let me see.